Welcome back, my friends. Have you been on a weight loss journey, a lifestyle modification, trying to lose weight, struggling with weight, and having difficulty navigating when friends and or family ask you, what you're doing? Are you taking medication? What's your secret? Or, hey, why haven't you lost weight? Any of those types of things. We are here today to discuss how to navigate talking to friends and family, and just maybe some of the things that I have done over the past 18 months on my lifestyle modification, where I have lost 70 pounds successfully with the help of Zepbound. But I have to tell you, it was not always easy to divulge that information. So let's dive in, pun intended. And I kind of figured here today in the pool was a good place to have this conversation, because this is, for me, I know personally, a place of real vulnerability. It has been a struggle over the past 20, 30 years or more to get into a bathing suit, go swimming in front of others, and not feel like you're just completely and fully exposed. And I know when people start talking to you about your weight and the weight of your body, it's a very, very vulnerable place to be. And I don't want any of you to be in that position and feel that way. So I would like to see if we can talk this out and find some things that may have worked for me that may work for you. So one of the first things that I tell people is if someone starts asking you about your weight loss or, anything of that nature, number one is you kind of need to know your audience. So I feel like there's a few different kinds of people, here. There's people that don't really care and they want to embarrass you maybe, or want to expose you or make you feel a certain way, and they're really not there for you. And to those types of people, I usually just don't give it the time of day. I will blow it off as quickly as possible. Recently we were somewhere, and out of the corner of my ear, I could hear the topic of Ozempic come up. And this conversation was being had with some family members, and one of them is type 1 diabetic. And I instantly heard another family member say something about, oh, well, why don't you just do that shot? Isn't that supposed to help everybody do everything, and then you can be skinny like everybody else? And the person responded that, her diabetes was different, that her doctor said that wouldn't really help her. Regardless, I could instantly hear the tone in that person's voice and the sarcasm almost about the GLP1s. And this was talking about diabetes. This wasn't even talking about weight loss. So, you can tell where it's coming from sometimes. And those types, like that situation, I kind of went to the other side of the backyard. And as much as I had a lot that I could have put into the conversation, sometimes you need to just choose, who you share with and when. And I knew that at that point, sharing my, successes or anything wasn't going to contribute to that conversation, right? So, sorry, I know that I'm kind of all over the place with this camera, but I can't actually see what I'm filming because it's so sunny. So I'm hoping that you guys are able to actually see me. Typically, I am pretty bold and upfront. If somebody asks, I get a lot of oh my God, how much weight have you lost? And that to me is extremely rude and disrespectful. Sometimes I know that it's coming from a place of, somebody really does care about you and you haven't seen in a while and they're a little shocked. Sometimes I'll have people say oh my God, did you lose weight? And my typical response is, yeah, a little bit. And then I just kind of turn the conversation. But a lot of times I'll get straight out oh my God, how much weight have you lost? And depending, you again, you really have to feel out the person in the conversation. And I think if it's somebody close to you, you'll kind of know, if it's somebody that is going to be a little bit more negative. You don't want that kind of negativity in your life, but you know, it might be a close family member and you just kind of have to navigate it. So again, I would just kind of say like, yeah, a little bit. Thanks for noticing, you know, something to that effect. If you're comfortable with a number, then by all means, but beware that when you start with numbers, so, you know, even when I was at like 60 pounds, I'm at 70 now, but when I was at 60 pounds, I would get like, oh my God, you lost that much. And to me, that's saying like, wow, you were huge. You really lost a lot of weight. And I just don't really feel like it's anybody's business. Yes, I put it all over YouTube and you all know this, but you want to know and you care about me. Not everybody is in that same category. So just, I want you to be aware, because I don't want any one of you amazing folks to be hurt and disappointed and dejected by any of your close family and friends circle. So again, I just say, know your audience. I am a pretty direct person, and it always kind of bothered me if I saw somebody that I was close to losing weight. And sometimes you just know, you know, like, this person's not going to the gym. You see what they're doing. Like, you know, you're eating lunch with this person and they're clearly not dieting in a certain way. And I can remember like 2.5 years ago, like talking to some, you know, coworkers and stuff. And I was like, wow, what are you doing? Like, you look amazing. More looking for help and guidance. And they were still vague and indirect. And I got a lot of like, oh, I'm seeing a doctor, I'm seeing a weight loss clinic, but nothing specific, like nothing that was going to help me. And I just didn't really understand, like, if you're feeling better and you're feeling healthy, why wouldn't you share that? And that's kind of where I am. When I am pretty sure that someone is asking me because they're asking for help, I am all in 100%. But just because someone, you might look at them and think, you know, they're might be looking to lose some weight or whatever the case may be, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to like your journey, what you've been doing, and take your advice. So just be mindful of that. I have had many people who are looking to lose weight and I tell them what I'm doing and they are against it. Some who support me but still won't take the jab themselves. I do have close friends who are actively trying to lose weight but are not on board with the GLP1, and that's fine too. So just know that just because someone's looking for help doesn't mean that they're going to respect your journey and want all of your advice. And I have found that. If I have someone asking me direct questions because I can feel out that they're looking for help and advice, I will give it to them. And I would be all in anything that they need. But I've told you guys before, I have friends on this journey with me that I work with that take a very different approach and do things very differently, and then are kind of like flabbergasted at their results. And when I give them, you know, what I think the reason might be, they still don't want to hear it or take the advice. So a lot of times you guys are my outlet for that. And I know not everything I do is, you know, really the most textbook things, and a lot of you give me advice, and sometimes I take that advice and that advice helps, and sometimes I take it with a grain of salt and know that what I'm doing has to be you know, my way, at my journey, at my pace. So I just implore you all to do what makes you happy. You need to be happy and you need to be successful on this journey, and nobody's ridicule, criticism, or input should really have anything to do with that. So if people are asking questions, you need to do what feels right for you. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes to make sure that I have everything. So yeah, some people are going to have that preset opinion, and I just think that you need to know, you know, some people already have premeditated thought in their head. And I have learned, and these 18 months have really changed my mindset on so many things. I feel like I'm able to be more positive about everybody and everything. And I understand more that at all times, everybody's going through their own thing. So just because somebody might be being a certain way or negative or saying certain things to me, that might really have nothing to do with me and the choices that I'm making, but it might have something to do with something that they're going on in their own life. So I've learned in the last 18 months to brush things off. I was not a brusher. I held on to everything. And if somebody wronged me, like you were dead to me, my mindset on this journey has been so different and really opened me up to a completely different thought process, really. And I truly think that I have grown so much as a person on this journey. This Zepbound has given me so much more than just weight loss and given me my health and given me my life back, but it has really given me a new outlook on life and a new perspective on people and, what people are going through and the whole 9 yards. So I just implore you all to know your audience, use your words carefully, don't expect too much from people, and only share what you're comfortable sharing. If someone comes to you and someone says like, oh my God, how much weight have you lost? And you are just not comfortable with that conversation, then you just say, oh, a little bit, thanks for noticing. So how's your peacock? I noticed, and you just change the subject. One thing I have noticed is that most people are pretty perceptive. And if you change the subject, they either know that you've changed the subject and they will just follow with that, or many times people just really care more about themselves and they'd rather talk about themselves anyway. So if you veer the subject or the conversation in a different direction, 9 times out of 10, people will take that bait. So I often do that. When someone will ask me a question, I'll say, oh yeah, I've been losing weight, and how's the new car? Or how's your mom doing? Or did you change your hair? And a lot of times people will just continue. Like if you don't overthink it, so just be prepared. If you're going to a class reunion or you're going to a family party and you've lost a significant amount of weight and there's a lot of people you haven't seen, know that there's going to be people who are interested and you may be able to help, and know that there's people who may make you feel uncomfortable, and just be kind of ready with a response. That is what I try to do, is just be ready with my response. And just know that there's going to be people in the world and in your life every day that are there for no added benefit to your journey. They're not going to do anything for your journey, but there are going to be so many people along the way that are going to be there to help bring you up. Those are the people you want to find. Those are the people you want to gravitate towards, like I have with you guys. You guys are the people who bring me up every day. You guys are the ones who encourage me, support me, love me, kind of unconditionally. You guys are the one who give me advice when I need it, and you guys are the ones that are there for me. So this community, I hope, can do that for you, and I hope that you can find at least 1 or 2 people that can help you along the way as well. So that is it for Advice with Cheryl today from the pool. I hope that this helped a little tiny bit. Remember that the Facebook group is in the description link, and go join that and ask your questions and look for your guidance, your support, your encouragement there, because we do vet everybody, and this is an amazing group of people that we have there. So go and subscribe, comment, do all of the things, my friends, and I will catch you guys next time. And remember, when you can't find the sunshine, you go out and you be the sunshine. Bye.